Hello all, welcome to study 36 of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This position is again from Alexey Troitsky, the Russian famous chess composer, one of the greatest, from the times where there were no chess engines to help them be precise. This position has a few pieces, so it's perfect for precision and deep calculation. These ones are basically the core to improve for the other one, more complex as one. So again, if you haven't already, I suggest you watch the guide. If you have or you are prepared, then the countdown will start, and then I see you again with the solution. And here we are for the solution. As always, let's start with the first only good move, and it is bishop h6 exclamation mark check. Well, why this move? Of course, we can't stay just with the bishop. We can't mate with just one piece, and our pawn is under attack. So if we simply take the pawn, well, then the enemy king will take our pawn, and we just have the bishop, so no way to be able to win this game. So the only idea we very fast are going to see is to check the king with the idea of then advancing the pawn to protect it. So check, the king moves, and we advance the pawn to protect. If the king goes to the other side, moving away from our pawn, well, we still advance, the king comes back, and this position we are going to see a bit in a while in the main line, so I'm not going to lose now time with it. So the best move, more intuitive also, is to go to the inside and then we move the pawn, and it's black to move. Again, let's see first what happens with that position I was showing a bit moments ago. Uh, it's white to move again. And now here we have a simple strategy, a simple tactic, that is I promote to queen, forcing the king to take back. Then I block the other pawn, so two pawns are blocked. And the king has not many moves, so it's forced to go to the corner. Now we keep the pawn alive. So because if you took the pawn, then the king comes back, and there's no way to force mate. And now the king also doesn't have any moves, but still has a pawn, so he's forced to move the pawn, and then we checkmate the king, which otherwise without the pawn would be a stalemate. So the king can't come up. And if the king can't come up, we reach the critical move, that is to check e6 check. And now what can white do? This is the most difficult move to find, I think. If we take, well, it's a stalemate, black king can't take. If you try to go, for example, blocking the pawn like we did before, and then the king moves and I try to promote with the queen and then try to corner the king, well, the king doesn't need to be cornered because he can move the pawn, and if I take the pawn, well, the king can come up with the bishop. It's again impossible to win, so this move doesn't work like this. And if I try, for example, to go to the other side, well, then black just advances the pawn. I can't take it again, and otherwise black will control always the promotion, and I can't force it. Uh, so what else can I do over here? Well, sacrificing is the same situation. So, like for example, going here and then go here. Well, the pawn just advances. I can't control it much more time, so I need to take it. And then, as you can see, there is again no way to win. So here is the critical situation, and the best move is to go with the king to d6. This is the right move. Why? Because we are going to place black in zigzag. Let's see, for example, now if black comes to f7 again. Now, yes, I block the pawn again, forcing black to come back to g8. And now I go with king to f6. So, as you can see, black king can't move, so needs to advance the pawn. I go to e7 over here, like for example, or e6, the same thing. The pawn advance again. I come back to f6, the pawn advance, and now it's different because I take with the bishop, but now black can move the h pawn. Let's see, for example, if it goes over here, I simply take, the king is forced to move, and then I control the promotion, so the king takes, but now I have a queen. It will be over. And if the pawn advances two moves, well, this is not going to be much different. I just go here. Of course, the king can't go here because I advance my king to f7 and then I promote again. So if it advances the pawn, I simply take it, and then I can control easily the game, and now it will be even faster because it will be checkmate. So when we are here, okay, I come back a bit too much. When we are here, the best move is this one. What happens if the king comes now? What happens if the pawn advances now? Well, I can't take the pawn again, but it's very similar to what we saw. We simply go with king to e7, for example. Now the pawn advanced again, and we go to f6. We have seen this position before, and when the pawn advances again, I take it, and then it's exactly the same way. So we are just showing how to end this study in style. So again, as you can see, this is a few pieces, but a lot of calculations. I hope you have found it, and trust me, if you solve this kind of simple end game studies, you will improve a lot, and you can start to upgrade yourself to studies with more pieces and so on, and you are going to be surprised how much you can improve like this. Oh, and I hope you enjoyed and see you again in future studies. So, bye bye.